Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing your daily Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 8th season for the Walking Dead TV series. This one first, we're going to give our thoughts on a recent news article that the Walking Dead Season 8 is going to be the most action-packed season ever. And I'll put the link in the description to comicbook.com for you guys to go ahead and check it out. So it says, when The Walking Dead began production in its 7th season, the cast and crew were subjected to creating one of the most intense and brutal sequences of the entire series. Glenn and Abraham were brutally murdered, and the cast had to bid farewell to beloved co-stars. Returning for Season 8 is a different story. The cast and crew are more excited than ever for the season, which is on the horizon. Rick Grimes actor Andrew Lincoln has said so himself. Now executive producer Denise Huth is sharing her excitement for Season 8 premiere, for the Season 8 premiere, which happens to be the 100th episode of the Walking Dead TV series overall, and is currently wrapping up production in Georgia. And she says, oh gosh, it's like night and day compared to how we had to start last year, Huth told Entertainment Weekly. They all came back so super excited, and it's a big year. These episodes are coming in huge. It's a lot of work. It's just as hard as it's ever been, if not harder. There's just a sense of excitement because the characters aren't in that dark down place. It was really hard last year. It was hard for the cast, it was hard for the crew, and it was hard for all of us. It was a really essential part of the story. And I think we need to go through that pain to have what we're doing now be so satisfying. If everything we are doing now had happened in the 3rd or 4th episode last year, it would still be cool, but it wouldn't have the same impact now because we've all had to trudge through the mud to get here. So it's great. And she continues to say, the energy is just incredible with the cast being together. And for a lot of these actors, it's the first time, or one of the first times, they're having the opportunity to work together because they were so split up last year. So it's exciting for us to integrate a lot of newer characters with the OGs and see them all come together and take on this one challenge that they share. It makes it a really, really exciting way to begin a season. Then it goes on to say it's a ton of action. It's super exciting. I think it will be really, really satisfying. As a fan of the show, and I am a fan of the show, when I read it, it was like, oh, I can't wait. It's going to be great. It's worth the wait to get to see this moment. So then it goes over how, you know, the season 7 finale has the war kicking off and everything. And it says, there's no telling with Scott and the writers and the things that they'll pull. I don't think we will really totally catch up. I think comic book creator Robert Kirkman will always stay ahead of us, and Scott likes to take a lot of detours. So we always have the roadmap to follow, and we know generally where we are going to get. But he introduces a lot of things that don't exist in the comics, like the scavengers and heaps, and finds a way to integrate these elements into Robert's existing story. People ask me all the time how the show is going to go. I have no idea, but Robert is nowhere near done with the books, so I think it would be quite some time before we're in danger of catching up to him. It's kind of surreal in a way. Who said back when we started, we never imagined we'd make it to 100 episodes. It seemed like such a far-off goal. It was hard to even contemplate at the time. We just wanted a second season. It's a huge commitment, or it's a huge compliment that the fact we've been going, we've been able to grow the story and grow the show, and every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. This year, that's certainly the case as well. And add on top of it that our season premiere for Season 8 happens to be the 100th episode. It makes it a really exciting way to come back. The energy here is really good. Everybody is super pumped, and it's particularly exciting coming off of last year where the season premiere was a total 180 energy-wise. It was a really tough way to start the season, and this year is a really exciting way to start it. And that's pretty much it. So really cool stuff. So there's a lot there. You guys can go ahead and take a look through it with the link in the description to comicbook.com. Really great news to hear. It sounds like her, along with everybody else, is really excited to get it going. It looks like they're really up in the scale and that it's going to be big, and sounds difficult to do because there's obviously a lot of things to manage and just a lot of stuff going on with the war. But I'm really happy to hear that this is going to be probably the most action-packed season ever. It's just, oh man, it's going to be so great to see that. And it's true too, like what you said at the beginning here, that in order for us to get that kind of a story arc, we really need to feel what the characters feel at that time in order for it to be authentic. So with season 7's first half in particular, where a lot of people, were kind of disappointed by it or let down by it, a lot of it has to do with kind of the decision of them to kind of make it that way. They probably knew going in that people were going to feel kind of down after seeing that, seeing what we saw in the season 7 premiere, and then afterwards as well too, with the group being under Negan and kind of understanding how that feels, because in order for them to fight back against Negan and the Saviors, we had to understand what it felt like to be under them. So if they would have skipped over that, we would not have really understood. And with regards to pacing, if you go too fast, it can feel like some kind of a action movie where you lose that authenticity, and they just kind of go from one thing to another, to another, to another, and it never really... you never really get that kind of slowdown period to build to another climax, and eventually you can burn your audience out if you just go straight through all the time action without any kind of ups and downs, so to speak. Kind of build up to something. It's like trying to be at the peak climax all the time. It doesn't really work long term, especially if you're going to do over 10 seasons of a show, or this getting into the 8th season of a show, like they're planning to go on a long time. They're going to have those ups and downs. So man, this has me really excited for season 8, man. I can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see the trailer, which will be in July at Comic-Con when that does hit. And it looks like it's going to be a really, really great one because based on the storyline in the comics and All Out War, what we're going to see, man, it should be one of the best seasons ever. So I'm really excited for it. Should be really great, man, for sure. So you guys can write your comments below. We'll go through a few questions, that you guys sent through for today. But yeah, definitely write those comments below, break down what she says, and give your guys thoughts on what she had to say about it and how you're going to feel about it being an action-oriented season. And that's something too, like, with regards to the genre of the show, I think The Walking Dead, because it is a horror drama, I want to say, at its core, but because it's such a diverse world, they have so many characters and they're doing so many seasons with it, I think that, there's time to have different genres in the show. Like it doesn't have to be just one kind of genre throughout the whole thing. When it comes to kind of a universe that's more diverse than that, and a story that's more engaging and involved than that, you can have different things in it. So you can have the horror, you can have Terminus and the cannibals and that kind of stuff, and it can be dark as far as that goes. You can have the season 7 premiere with the horror, the brutality. You can have the Whisperers that are very horror-esque in terms of characters and in terms of villains, something like Chainsaw Massacre or something with skins, and this kind of villain, very scary horror type character. But then you can also have episodes where they're more like romance, like where you have Rick and Michonne together and getting together for the first time, have some romance in there. You can have some comedy mixed in there, and then of course you can have a lot of action, as we've had throughout the series too, where seasons like season 3 were really action driven. They were almost entirely action seasons of the show, and that's kind of the way Glenn Mazzar was trying to do it. It sounds like from the interviews I've read, is that he wanted to be very action oriented to feel like a war. Well, this season it sounds like it's going to be a lot like that as well too, so that's great. So I'm really happy to hear that this season coming up is going to be very action-oriented. I love drama, too. I love good drama also. But, action in a zombie apocalypse is always awesome. And mixing in some drama with it to get the right kind of, mixture there is really, really great. So things hit a high note when they have to, but then you also have the attachment to the characters that you need to have the drama in there to get that attachment, to see them go through those trials and tribulations in order for us to get emotionally attached to the characters. Then in the action sequences and the action story arcs and seasons, it matters. We care about them because we're attached to them from those other, kind of elements of other genres that they mix into the show as well too. Kyle Colopi says, Trev, what do you expect to see in the season 8 trailer for The Walking Dead, and when do you think it will come out? So like I said, it's going to be at Comic-Con. I haven't checked the dates for Comic-Con yet, so I'll have to check that. But usually it's a couple weeks into July, so somewhere around know, like maybe 2 months from now, roughly, something like that. But we'll have Fear in the meantime as well, too. So we'll be doing videos about that, reviews every week for that and that kind of thing. So that should be fun. But yeah, I'm more excited for Season 8 and for the trailer than probably anything else right now. Especially because it sounds like it's going to be so good. But what would I expect to see? A lot of action, like we said, you know, probably the Sanctuary getting attacked by Rick and the others. A lot of zombies, most likely. Maybe something close to Season 6. It doesn't have to be like some mega colossal herd because that's not the focus. But something, you know, a fifth of that size, so 500 to 1,000 zombies or something coming through would be plenty enough to make that really exciting. And I'm hoping to see, yeah, that's what I'm hoping to see in the premiere. Whole tons of zombies. Whole ton of action between the groups fighting back and forth should be sweet. Stephen Loy says, "Hey Trev, really love your channel. Thanks for all the great discussion videos and content. Quick Q&A. How much do you think the reality of Glenn being gone from The Walking Dead forever affected the ratings? Meaning, do you think it was more his death that caused the majority of the drop instead of the given reasons? Also, do you think they, if they killed Daryl off, it could have an even sharper effect on the series or on the viewer base, resulting in even more ratings loss and people, you know, dropping off the show? Thanks for all your hard work. Keep making the videos, and we'll keep watching them on a daily and liking it. So thanks, Steve, and thank you guys for liking the videos as well too. It really does help, and leaving comments, sending questions, all that kind of stuff. It keeps me going, man. I absolutely love doing this with you guys. So for your questions, a great question, and we'll end with this one because this one's kind of loaded. So what do I think was responsible for the ratings drop? It's kind of what Denise said earlier in that interview, that they kind of want us to feel down at that time after what happened, so we could feel what the characters were feeling and getting to see it from their point of view and their perspective. I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of the casual fans. A lot of the casual fans are expecting to see a happy ending. They're expecting to see the group get out of this one somehow. They're going to get out of it, you know, similar to like the train car at Terminus with Carol saving them or something like that. Like, oh, how are they going to get out of this one? And then they find a way out. And people like that premiere. You know, if you look at No Sanctuary, they get caught, and then Carol and Tyrese and the other, you know, they break out, right? And they fight their way out too. But Carol starts that process, right? The ratings did not go down after that kind of an episode. So I think a lot of it has to do with people being sore losers to a degree, people wanting to see a story where the good guys always win. That I really do think that is true, that a lot of people, a lot of casual viewers really just want to see that, and they're not really gonna, you know, if the good guys lose, so to speak, and two of them get brutally killed and there's nothing the others can do about it, you know, a lot of them can get turned off by that. So I do think that you're right, that the reality of Glenn being killed off, maybe not so much because we got a lot of time with Glenn, so maybe not so much what he was going to do in his actions in the show, but he was a very important character. I think that a lot of it has to do with kind of the feeling that people had after the premiere and the group kind of being defeated by Negan and the Saviors. A lot of people are sore losers, even in sports, right? You know, like you get a drop. There's actually, you can see it hormonally too. Actually, there's you can look into science, and there's lots of books on that kind of stuff. But after a team will lose, sometimes you get like a test drop. So you get like a drop in their hormones and their energy, and they feel like, you know, we all do. We get depressed, that kind of stuff if you lose, right? And when you're kind of on the survivors team and you see them lose, it can still affect you in a similar kind of fashion. So I think that had a lot to do with it. They stretched out the story quite a bit in the first half. They focused a lot on Negan when people don't like Negan yet, right? They're like, they hate Negan right now. They don't want to see him, so they'll like turn off, that kind of stuff. And they had some bottled off episodes, I think, that also hurt it as well too. But I think this season, after we see this trailer, a lot of people are going to get hyped about it again, and it's going to do really well. It might not do season 5 ratings, but it might be like season 4, somewhere like that, 12 or 13 million views an episode, which by today's standards is still really good because the world has changed as well too. People, internet, that kind of stuff, which I think at this point does matter to a degree when we're getting into season 8 versus season 5 in 3 years. But yeah, so that'll be it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think. Write your comments below on how you feel about an action-packed season 8. If you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can also share, you can favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe, please don't forget, subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, this is Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.
You better subscribe.